These are the best metal albums of July 2024. I selected 10 albums and I will be counting them down from number 10 to number 1, whereas my number 1 will be my album of the month. I have some interesting choices this time, a lot of different genres, some well-known bands, and a few underground ones. So let's get started.
I heard the king is dead. No others
And number 10 is Orton Oan with the Order of Fear. They are a German power metal band. They've been around since 1996. Even though it's still number 10, I still think it's very good. One of my favorite songs is the title track called The Order of Fear. I thought it was one of the more melodic and accessible songs. I also like the song Moonfire because it had some technical guitar riffs and a darker sound, but was still very melodic with a catchy chorus. The song Dread Lord was also good because it had a heavier and darker tone. And I also like the power ballad called My Worst Enemy, which was a very memorable song. Overall, it's a good power metal album, has everything you would expect from the happy songs, the darker songs, and the ballads. Number 9 is Summoning the Lich with Under the Reviled Throne. They are from St. Louis, Missouri. They call themselves a fantasy-driven technical death metal band. The album was released via Prosthetic Records. This is a fantasy-based concept album. I would say in general the songs on the album sound like deathcore or tech death, but they're not too hard to listen to. Most songs have melody and structure, so it's not just all tech death. The vocals are harsh, but understandable at times. They range from low gutturals to higher demonic sounding ones. One of my favorite songs is called My Horrors Unending, which has bone-crushing riffs and drum beats powerful enough to slay a dragon. I also like the soft instrumental called Bastille Dirge and the song Potion Cellar, which just another brutal deathcore song with lyrics filled with mysticism, magic, and the supernatural. Another good song is the album Closer called Praise to the Bog, with vocals that sound like they're chanting some ancient spell and ending with soft violins. This band is similar to the Black Dahlia Murder or Cow Decapitation, so if you like those bands, I think you can get into this. Number 7 is Orange Goblin with Science, Not Fiction. This band is some stoner rock, or you can call it stoner metal, similar to bands like Caius or Fu Manchu. I like one of the singles that was released that was called The Fire at the Center of the Earth Is Mine. This song has a trippy music video. The song was reminiscent of Black Sabbath's Children of the Grave, had lots of heavy guitars. They used pretty cool and spacey effects. The other thing was called Not Rocket Science, which was just some heavy rock and roll. The music video was reminiscent of 1950s science fiction movies. My other favorite song was called The Justice Knife. I like it because of the time signature changes, the bass guitar sounds, and the fact that it was a little faster than so many others. If you like stoner music with lots of slow and heavy riffs mixed with trippy and psychedelic stuff, I think you should check it out. Coming in number 6 is Kryptos with the album called Decimator. They are a heavy metal and thrash band from India. They play classic heavy metal, similar to pre-Bruce Dickinson Iron Maiden. There are lots of heavy guitars, fast rhythms, in addition to the raspy vocals. They have some melody in the songs, and the bass guitar plays a role in the music. There's some guitar shredding on the album as well. Most of the songs sound like either 80s traditional heavy metal or that early 80s glam metal like Wasp or Dokken. One of my favorites was the song Electrify that had more of a traditional heavy metal sound, maybe similar to Judas Priest. Overall, this is some classic heavy metal with a little bit of an edge to their sound. I was surprised. My original score was a 7.5 out of 10, but I think it went up in the week or two it's been out. Coming in at number 5 is the band Patriarchs in Black with the album Visioning. They are a doom metal band, but kind of a strange one because they have blues rock and they have rap rock. And I mean, the album begins with a soft violin instrumental, and this band consists of 2 members, but they also have a bunch of guest vocalists. You can check out my previous video where I go into full detail about all the people involved on this album, but I just want to do a quick recap of what I liked about it. The core sound of the band is old school doom metal, similar to Black Sabbath, St. Vitus, or Trouble. There are lots of big guitar riffs. The songs each have a unique quality. So for example, track number 2, Before I Go, has this Alice in Chains, Jar of Flies type of sound to it. Welcome to Hell Again sounds like one of those rap rock collaborations you would have heard on the Judgment Night soundtrack from the 90s. And the song Whiskey on My Mind is like some type of ZZ Top and Black Sabbath collaboration. And the album was pretty good. If you like Doom, but with all these different styles, check it out. Next is the band SkyEye with New Horizons. This is another traditional heavy metal band. It sounds similar to Iron Maiden from the 80s, but they're not an exact replica of them. They have lots of big vocals, galloping guitar riffs, and fast drum beats. There are lots of big and powerful vocals that remind me of Ronnie James Dio at times. They are more than just old school heavy metal. They have some longer epics, such as the Middle Eastern sounding Saraswati and the closing track 1917. First single, Railroad of Dreams, was the most accessible song with its melody and riffs. Nightfall was leaning towards power metal with double bass drumming and guitar harmonies. Overall, I was surprised by this. I wasn't blown away at first, but I think it's ranking pretty high at the end of the month. Servants to the Tide, Where Time Will Come to Die. This is some German epic doom metal. They had the epic nature of Candlemass with the theatrics of Sabotage. One of the standout tracks is called With Starlight We Ride, which is a very energetic and fast-paced song. This slowed down with the 8-minute Sunrise in Eden. Then there was White Wanderer, which has a much darker tone. There are softer moments, such as the song Towards Zero, a piano-based song reminiscent of a Manowar ballad. I also like a song called The Trial, because the intro guitar riff is very catchy. It kind of reminded me of some early Iron Maiden. Then there's a last song called Where Time Will Come to Die, which is a big 9-minute epic, which includes a piano-based intro, some killer guitar riffs, some slower, heavier sections, some softer moments, a melodic guitar solo, and big and soaring vocals. Overall, on the surface, they are a traditional doom metal band, but there's a lot more going on with this album, so I would say check it out. Coming in number 3 is the self-titled debut album by supergroup Category 7. This one really grew on me in a short amount of time because upon first listen I was like, yeah, it's just okay, but these songs are really growing on me, and that's why I have it up so high, even though it was just released this weekend. Some of the highlights in the album are the album opener, In Stitches, which has these whirlwind-style guitar riffs. Exhausted was one of the singles with a hurricane-themed music video, and one of the catchiest songs on the album. Runaway Truck, filled with some awesome double bass drumming. Mousetrap is probably one of my favorites. Has this awesome drum intro, and with the bass guitar, it's pretty cool. And although the album kind of like lacks bass a little bit, some songs it does stand out. And they have an 8-minute instrumental, Etter Stormen, with the twin guitar attack, thick bass guitar playing, and thunderous drum beats. The more I listen to it, the more it reminds me of Sound of White Noise by Anthrax. So for that reason, I have it up high at number 3. And number 2 is Wake Up the Wicked by Powerwolf. This band is similar to Sabaton, but lyrically the songs are somewhat satirical because they deal with religion, the church, and werewolves and vampires. And this is one of those bands that has a particular style. They haven't really changed it much over the course of their career. The songs are short, they're catchy, they're all memorable. They have these choruses that stick in your head, and they just know how to make a good album. So the opening track, Bless Them with a Blade, it's fast-paced, melodic, catchy, and just a good start to the album. Sinners of the Seven Seas was the Pirates-themed song. 1589 was about a serial killer who supposedly was a werewolf. Viva Vulgata has some big church organs and softer, harder parts. And Wake Up the Wicked, the title track, was pretty catchy, had a melodic guitar solo. There's some more history with Joan of Arc. And they have a children's choir on the song We Don't Want to Be No Saints. Overall, the band is very consistent. All their albums are very good. They don't stray from their core sound. So if you have listened to them before, you know what you're getting. My number 1 album came out in the beginning of the month, and when I heard this, I kind of knew it was going to be my number 1. It's Piah with Under the Shadow of a Foreign Sun. They're a Brazilian progressive death metal band. They're very reminiscent of either early Opeth or that like mid-2000s Opeth. They use the clean singing and death growls and other elements, the saxophone and other stuff. Most songs have the complex guitar riffs, heavy and light sections. There's an 11-minute song with acoustic guitars, and there's lots of heavy progressive death metal guitars and death growls and clean vocals. And they sprinkle in some other stuff like the saxophone playing, the jazzy stuff. One song I liked, Macaw's Lament. It was a short instrumental. It's acoustic. And the other songs in the album are all solid. So they have like these long songs, and it's just an awesome album. It's my favorite of the month, and I think because of the classic Opeth influence, they sound a lot like Opeth, but I think that sound is lacking because, number one, Opeth doesn't play like that anymore. Number two, they haven't released an album in like 5 or 6 years. So it kind of like filled a void for me. So that's why it is my number one. As well, check out my video for the new metal releases last weekend. Put that right there. Thanks for watching. Please like this video. It helps me with the YouTube algorithm. Please subscribe if you're not already. You can find me on Facebook and TikTok. Links in the video description. I'll see you in the next one.